Let's welcome one of my favorite persons, Mr. Michael Stewart, author, motivational speaker, president of BMIN, and the titles go on and on. When to stop, tell me. But anyway, let's take a temporary stop, but get to it. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Stewart.
Good morning, Brother B. I always admire the way you look. Boy, I tell you.
Yeah, all right.
You must tell me what that meal is.
Okay.
What that new diet you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's exercise and good mind, and not bad mind. The bad mind is the evil. And good mind is the one that we're not practicing.
Right.
And once you have good mind, everything else falls in place.
Yes, but I'm sure our diet must go along
And
with
diet
that
and exercise, of course.
Right, yes.
Yes.
I see you working on.
Yes, right. All right, so we're here to discuss when life takes a wrong turn.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart, I cannot help but start, and I'm longing to ask somebody this, right? Mm-hmm. What went wrong with, and okay, so we tired hearing it, the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, something went wrong. Mm-hmm. Life went wrong somewhere there. Mm-hmm. And so this morning, we're not going to narrow it down to sex, but generally relationship, when things go wrong. Mm-hmm. When do we recognize, I mean, the outcome of that slap tell us so many things that are happening with him. But before it reaches there, what are the warning signs and what are the signs you, the individual, need to pay attention to adjust or to fix or to, I don't know. Tell me.
Well, I think that generally we make decisions based upon our own perception at a point in time. Because at different points in time, we make different decisions. When I was young and a teenager, speed on a motorbike or with a car, I felt that was a good decision to make because you enjoyed it, everybody else, all your peers enjoyed it and so on. But as you grow older, speed does not become something that you want to make as a decision in your life when you utilizing a motor vehicle, because you're at a different space in your life. And you may take that as just a simple example. So when we are in relationships or we are in that stage in our lives, when we look in ourselves, where we at, we are going to make a decision based upon how we are at this point in time. There are two things that we have to look at. Where we are majorly depend upon decisions we make or decisions we fail to make that we should have made. Yes? Now, somebody made those decisions. Either we made it or somebody else made it. But they are always decisions that brought us to where we are at that point in time. That debacle that you referred to was as a result of a decision that came from somewhere. Or a decision that the person did not make that they should have made.
To prevent.
Right. Because taking action to mitigate against a decision of somebody else is also a decision that we make. Because we may not start the initial decision, but we must take evasive action for other people's decisions that they make. Now, some of them we really have no control over. A child who has been raped may not have had any input on such a decision, but they are yet collateral damage of the decision of somebody else. But most of our decisions are decisions we either made or failed to make. And not making a decision is a decision.
Wow. Excellent. All right. So let's dive into the pointers you want to touch on.
Right.
But I just had to ask somebody that I think would be of like mind to respond to that regard. But I think you want to expand a little more. So with the action that was taken as a result of not making the right decision, because there are those who are saying that relationship is toxic and he should look for a divorce. Obviously, the woman has embarrassed him, having sex with a son friend and all of that. Obviously, that's going to bruise the ego. It's going to destroy the man, the makeup of the male. How you dare you bring this to the public, and I did not know until we had this conversation. Let's talk a little bit about scenarios like that exist among us. We may think Will Smith is the only one who had to deal with that.
We also grapple with many of those decisions. And while I'm not here to deal with the right or wrong of what Will Smith did, but we make decisions in a process, almost like a 3-tier process. Number one, the importance of that decision and the impact it has. So for somebody in a situation such as that, they are going to determine what is the importance of this decision that I'm about to make and what's going to be the impact of it. But remember, no, it's not skewed towards something that is outside of the person. It is skewed towards what they think the impact is going to be for them.
So
Yes.
it's an inner.
Yes. People do
pain-
things in their own interest, good or bad. When somebody goes on crack cocaine, they are making it in their interest, not in the interest of other people. Even when we say we're going to do this to a nation or to a person, or we're doing it to be able to defend our family and so on, it is still in our interest. So what is the importance of that to me at this point in time, and what's going to be the impact of it is going to be part of that decision that I will make. Now, when somebody goes on crack cocaine or they make a decision to be in violence, etc., the importance is to them. The impact is what they think, that I should now make this decision according to what I feel. Yeah? So we have to actually look into the life of the person, the thoughts of the person, to try and appreciate why they're doing what they're doing. So somebody who commits suicide, we'll talk about why somebody would want to commit suicide. What's the importance of it to them? And what's the impact? Some people just feel that if they leave this world, that it will be better for other people. Yes, but then that is in that person's interest. Yeah. So we make decisions for all sorts of things. So that's one, importance and the impact of it. The second thing that we would look at is that the perception of whether it is going to give me pleasure or pain. And sometimes we'll take early measure pleasure decision.
Measure pleasure. Let me write down that. Measure pleasure. So we take a certain measure for our own pleasure.
Pleasure or pain.
Pleasure.
So a good decision may bring me pain, but a bad decision may bring me pleasure. So if a man is going to make a decision, he's in a good relationship, he's married and so on, and he's going to contemplate having a fling.
That's for his pleasure.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Now he may make a bad decision, but it brings pleasure. But the pain later on is going to be part of that pleasure, but it may not be in the early stage. So this early stage of not feeling pain, but pleasure, most of us make those immediate kind of decisions in life because we don't think long term.
All right.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. What creates the decision in terms of, let me use drugs for a quick pleasure? Because, all right, fine. So I'm hanging out, and let's use this Easter weekend with a crew.
Right.
And they introduce the cake with the lace, with the marijuana and the cocaine and all of that. And they say to you that this is going to carry you a place that you have never been before. You will love it.
Yes.
Out of the desire for pleasure, you may want to take it.
Right.
But there's a consequence down the road
Right.
as a result of the decision that you make to try this thing.
Right.
And let's say you didn't take it. And so what's the dilemma there in terms of the decision?
The dilemma is when you're watching the others enjoying themselves on this thing and you made the painful decision of not taking it.
All right. So let's say I take the decision to take it.
Right.
Because I'm
I'm also pressured by the others who telling me that I'm quiet.
Right.
Not having to participate in something that is enjoyable and something that everybody else is, and I am now left as alone.
Right.
That's painful.
Good.
Because because we suffer from where we miss out. We don't like to be left out of things. We like to be in the in thing.
Okay.
You see?
Right.
So that pain is not what some people want to take because they want to be able to accept it in their community.
So let's say I decide to take it. I watched everybody enjoying themselves and I said, I can't be queer. Let me try this thing.
Yes.
I tried.
Yes.
But it reacted differently on me.
Right.
I didn't know myself and I capsized the whole building.
Yes.
And I have to deal with the pain of that reality that I hurt people as a result of my decision for pleasure.
Right.
And it affected my family. As a result, I lost my job. And so speak to it from that perspective, because that is something that went totally wrong. Right.
You know, somebody said the best mathematics that you could work out is calculating the future cost of present decisions. The best mathematics is calculating the future cost of present decisions. We if we sit down and we work that out, at the time when we took that we felt the pleasure and so on, and we recognize what has taken place, but we regret now, is pain.
Yes, yes, yes.
Pain happens to be the equation that gives us the result of X when we participated in that. But then after a while, after that wears off, we are into the cycle again. So a couple of weeks pass, a month pass, we drink, we get drunk, we vomit, we felt bad, we said some things, we did some things, we went home, beat the wife, etc. But then she forgave us.
Right.
So things are back to normal now. And then I'm going through the whole process again because I still have the same friends. I still have the same circumstances and environment. And then I am to make another decision again when I've gone out with these set of friends. Pleasure and pain comes up again. Immediately right now, I want pleasure. But the pain is down the road. The man who breaks into a house thinks of the result when he gets whatever it is he's going to, the loot he will leave with. But he doesn't really sit down and contemplate as deeply the pain of being caught.
Of course, yeah.
Because most people think that there's a high chance I may not be caught. Most people would not think of pain of being an immediate thing. When we eat now, we eat enjoying pleasure of ice cream and the things that we shouldn't eat because the immediate pleasure.
Yes,
but we don't contemplate the pain later down and that's right. You see?
Right.
So all of us go through that whole process.
All right. So let's take another angle of when things turn or gone wrong. All right, so we dealt with relationships. We dealt with the choices that you would make in terms of pleasure and pain.
Right.
There are other elements of things going wrong with the choice that you did not make.
Right.
All right, so I'll bring this scenario now. So this pretty girl, she's nice and so on.
Yes.
She reached the ages where she wants to get married and have her own family and children. A nice, good-looking fella come around, but he doesn't have all the assets.
Right.
He, in terms of he might not have a good job, but however, he loves her and he would put her on a pedestal and marry her and ride the white horse into the sunset. And she decides, you ain't good enough. I don't want to deal with you. And then maybe a month down the road, he marries somebody else and then she regrets. Let's talk about, so that really was catastrophe for her.
Yes.
She wanted him, she liked him. Again, the pressure from the friends, like, where you going with it? You are executive and you taking this boy who had nothing and so on. Let's talk that type of decision that really guides you down the wrong way. Influence from friends, that's where I'm going with, as far as, choosing a partner is concerned.
Right. Well, when you're choosing a partner, it has to be dependent on, and this is my personal opinion, dependent on where you are going. If you know where you are going, then you need somebody who will accompany you on that journey. I think that many people don't know where they're going. They're looking for a nice hookup. So this guy looks nice. He's handsome. This girl looks pretty. She's charming. And we make those external kind of decisions. But it is not really focused on more substantive decisions as to, is this person going in a place with their life where it would complement where I am going also. And the Bible puts it like being unequally yoked.
Right.
So even in
Right.
religion, we have that kind of thing. You see? And if we take in somebody who's going in an opposite direction, for example, we go to a bar and we lime. We met a guy or we met a girl in the bar. That kind of community that I met, we are both in the same direction.
It's because it seems.
The community.
Right.
Right. But then now we get married, start to have children. One decides, I am going in a different direction now. But the other one is in the same space. But we never spoke about the future of where we're going with this relationship. We only spoke about the now. So we enjoyed it now, and the one wants to stop the other one from going to the bar. The other, that one rejects.
Yeah, because
this one, I didn't sign up for this.
Exactly right.
You see? Yes. And many times that's how we make relationships. Somebody changes the rules along the game when we never sat down and projected. Do I want children? Sometimes after people get married, then you find out that I'm dealing with a couple and one said, I don't want children, but then only found out that after marriage. You see? Because it was never discussed. And sometimes when you don't have the counseling before and the discussions that would help you to make those decisions, you find those out late.
Very good. We go for a break. When we come back, we want to identify when we are going wrong, when we know consciously, or sometimes we don't even know, and we are still going the wrong way. I want to ask this question. How do you identify when things are going the wrong way?
The wrong way.
How do you identify them? Because sometimes you're not even conscious that you're going the wrong way. Nobody told you. And in your mind, you believe it's right.
Right. I was going to give a motivational speech in Trinidad one day. And while heading to do the motivational speech, I felt it was taking a bit long for me to arrive at the location. So what I did, I called my wife, who is from Trinidad, and who knew where I was going, and I asked her, I said, I think that I'm lost. But I had no idea of whether in truth and in fact I am lost. Here's what she told me. She asked me this question, Michael, where are you? The reason she asked me, Michael, where are you, is because when she looked at the fact that I'm lost, she had to now match it up with where I'm going. She knew where I was going. So she needed to find out where am I now in comparison to where I'm going. In order for you to know if you are going wrong, you must have a destination.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a destination, then as somebody said, any port is going to be correct for you because you never knew which port you were heading. But if you know which port you're heading, when you come into a port, you say, no, this is not where I'm going.
Significantly, you said, and you have to know where you are first.
Yes.
To know where you want to go.
You need to know where you're going.
Yes.
But in order to be able to know if I'm going wrong, I've always got to double check where I am.
All right, let's deal with that. Where you are in your life.
Yes.
In some cases, there are some people who don't know where they are in their life.
That's right.
It's like, as you said, you're lost. So this place is straight. I don't know where I am. So I really can't tell you. In that, you were able to tell her where you were, and she would give you the directions in where you were at to get to.
Right.
However, there are some people who will not know where they are.
Right.
You're lost. And when you look around, you don't know where you are. In your life journey, you get to a place where you don't know where you are. You're puzzled, you're not sure. In some cases, it has to do with what choice of career you want to take, what pathway. So it's difficult to identify whether you're lost or not.
What made me lost? Tell me what made me lost.
Well, because
Because I had to be going somewhere.
Okay.
You could never be lost if you were not going anywhere.
Right.
So because life is going somewhere for me, life is going somewhere for everybody. It is either what we charted or what we just allowed to just happen because we are living by happenstance. And once we are going along life without any specific direction, we are just chumming along life, just waking up every day. Technically, we are not lost, And so our comfort is going to be always there. And you have some young people who have no direction of where they're going.
Good. And I wanted to get to that because as I mentioned career choice and where you're going. There are some, and let's deal with mostly young people. They've gone to school while they're in college or university. I'm dealing with those, right? I may come to. And while in university, they may have left home. Daddy, I want to pursue medicine.
Right.
And they send them off. However, while they're there, they're still not sure whether they want to pursue medicine. They may meet a friend or a colleague that is in the faculty of the performing arts or whatever, and choose, or may have gone to see a rehearsal and was impressed, and that's the decision.
Right.
So when word get back to parents and so on that I've chosen or I choose a different career path, then there is conflict and confusion in the home. So the direction is they take a different direction, surprisingly to those who were guided
because
the
they
process.
found a destination and they're now going after it. And whenever you make a turn, you must disrupt something.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a turn on the road, the car is going to have to go through some measure of stress in order to change the direction.
Great.
And that is going to happen even with our parents, but you have found a direction. It is better, John Maxwell said this, 2 days of your life are the most important days in your life. The day you were born and the day you found out why. And once a person finds out why, the why in their life, Why am I here? Why am I in this university? It is to achieve a career that brings a satisfaction and bring a certain measure of performance and probably competence in my area to be able to achieve something. And once I find that out why, then I'm now going after that. I must do nothing to disrupt that. I can't do anything to disrupt the university for me to be expelled. So I can't go and fet and next, get in a fight and get expelled because I'm now losing the direction of where I'm going. I must never do anything. I want to be a police, but I'm selling drugs. You understand? Clearly, where you're going and where you are, you have never matched that up. And that means you are lost.
Wow.
Yeah?
Okay.
And so that's why it is important for us to understand life and find out why. The search for meaning is our most important search that we're going to have. And once we have that, you find that people's life begin to line up. They begin to associate that life. And that is something that all of us need to start looking at. And so one person says, the decision to act is the decision that we make that is now going to take our lives propelling along a particular direction.
Wow.
3 things I want to suggest to you, Brother B. Number 1, anytime you're going to make a decision, you ask yourself, could I make it? Could I make this decision? So the man who is probably contemplating to go and he want to, we have events coming up. We have the goat race, we have carnival coming up and so on, but I want to be able to purchase stuff, but I don't have the money. Could I go and rob somebody? The answer is yes. But there are certain things that the answer is no. Could I go to the moon? The answer is no. You understand? When I'm at a different space in my life, I might be able to ask that same question and the answer would be yes at that point. But at this point, going to the moon is a no. But could I rob somebody? The answer is yes. Then I ask the second question, should I? Not because I could do something, but means that I should do it.
Exactly.
And when you ask yourself that, should I do this act in my life based upon where I'm going, then you now need to ask the next question, would I? Decision, that is the point of decision. I could do it, yes. Should I do it? If the answer is no, then would I do it? The answer must also be no. Because I shouldn't do it. So I would not do it. But if the answer is, could I do this? Could I go to university and come out with my subjects? Yes. Should I go and do it? Yes. Then the answer must also be, would I? Yes.
All right. We're quickly going to close now, and I want to thank you for that, and we learned so much. Men are the day of the boy child. What is the plans for
May
that?
16th is the day of the boy child. We had a meeting with the executive. We know that you've been busy, and so we missed you in that meeting. But we will bring you up to speed with it. We have this. We have plans for both World Day of the Boy Child, May 16th, and also International Men's Day, which is November 19th. We have a number of plans coming out that we're going to roll out. I wouldn't want to preempt the team by saying it here, but we do want to meet with stakeholders. One of the things we're going to want to do is pay a courtesy call to the Chief Secretary and to share with him some of the plans that we have for boys and for men in being able to do that and to get some support from corporate stakeholders to be able to make an exciting year of 2022 for boys and our men.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think the theme that we're running on, let's be boys.
All men, everybody.
Let's be boys. Not only boys, even the men being boys. And
yeah.
let's start integrating the men with the boys and so on.
All right, fine. So, team, right? All right. So, we'll have a chat about that as we get closer to May, May next month. Yeah?
Yes.
And the 16th. All right, Mr. Stewart, it was indeed a pleasure having you. And
Pleasure being here.
So much was discussed. And we were clear on some of the points. And indeed, I hope that you are bettering the lives of some people who out there may be taking the wrong turn and would be misguided. However,